Lately, I've received several requests for my choice for a limited palette, especially a limited palette where you only have the primary colors. So here's my take on that. So the primary colors, as we traditionally have named them, are red, yellow, and blue. Now, I know there's some people on YouTube especially who are arguing with that point. You just go ahead and let them argue. Just listen to this and watch what happens here, and you make your own decision about what the primary colors are. I'm calling them red, yellow, and blue because that's the way my brain works and the way I learned it. All right. If you're limited to the numbers of paints that you can take out, or if you're just curious about what you can squeeze out of 3 colors and white, then this might just be for you. So, red. The best red, from my point of view, to use for a limited palette is alizarin crimson. Why? I'll show you. 1, because it's a dark color. So here it is as a dark color. 2, it can be mixed with the next color I'm going to call and create even a darker color, or give a broader range of potential, and I'll show you that right now. So I'm going to rinse off my brush. The next color I prefer for a limited primary palette is phthalo blue. Phthalo blue, not ultramarine blue, and here's the reason. Phthalo blue, also transparent. Oh, and choosing alizarin crimson, also it being transparent is a good reason for that. Phthalo blue is transparent, very dark, very strong. So I put phthalo blue right here, right here. Now, let's just do this. Just working with phthalo blue and alizarin crimson, we have the potential for leaning phthalo blue towards alizarin crimson and getting something closer to what we might interpret as an ultramarine blue type hue, which a lot of people want, or you want in a lot of different circumstances. So I'm now mixing just a little bit of alizarin crimson into phthalo blue. Well, if I put it here, you can see it ends up being very, very dark. But then if we add a little white to that, exploring possibilities here, we add a little white to that, and just a little bit more of alizarin crimson, and watch how it leans, actually leans. Let's put a little bit more white so that you can see it. As I add white, I also have to add more alizarin because the white brings, there we go. Here we go, right here. You can see now that actually leans a little bit more towards what we think of as the coolness, or yeah, you could say the coolness of ultramarine blue. Put a little bit more right here. Now let's push the envelope on that one and see how much of alizarin crimson can we add into that. And let's just see what ranges we can get. Continue to add the white. And look at the range. And let's get that, keep that in the same value range so it makes sense to you. There we go, right there. See, now it's beginning to look even more, or leaning more towards the kind of violetly blue. Now let's keep leaning it. Keep adding the alizarin. And we'll see that it's going to lean more and more towards violet. Of course, red and blue do that. Red and blue will create a violet. Now let me say something right here while I'm doing this little experiment for you. There is no limited primary palette that's going to give you exactly every color you want. What we do is we make a choice of the primaries, and then we work within that choice. Now you can see that within this choice, I'm getting more and more violet. And we get right over here. I need more paint on the brush. Let's see. A little bit. thin it right in here. Alright, here we go. Now it's beginning to get more violet. Of course, this is just one value range I'm working in here. You can, beyond these possibilities, and then you got the full value range from the lightest light to the darkest dark of these mixtures. And just a little bit of medium, a little bit, there we go, a little bit more white so you can see it. And okay, and look at just one more step towards the value range, and there we are. You can see now we've got the feeling of the phthalo blue, and then adding of the alizarin crimson. You see this, you have this entire range of color right here. That's what you can do with phthalo blue. Let me just, for the sake of clarity, show you both what phthalo blue and alizarin crimson do with only white added into them. So I'll just pick up some white here and just put it right here to see there is the fully saturated ultramarine blue with white. And I'll just give you a couple of value possibilities. So you got this possibility as far, well, and even lighter, as far as value ranges of that one color. And then with the alizarin, you're going to have that many possibilities too. So I'll just pull some pure white down with the alizarin. Let's go, I'll go uphill here. So then if I begin to add this to alizarin, now you're seeing we get more of a leaning towards kind of a rose color, and add even more white to the alizarin. And I don't want to get off the camera here, but you see you get this range. So I'm going to put just a little bit more, hope the camera catches that. Got squeezed up a little tight there. Alright, so there we go. Now that shows you something of the range of just a pure color. This shows you something, when you start mixing those two, shows you something of the range of the hue just in this one value. Well, imagine the range that you can get of this hue with one value. If you then raise the value, or if you lower the value, and that's just those two colors. Alright, now let's look at what we can do if we add yellow to each of those, and the possibilities that you have there. So with phthalo blue, we'll just go right here in this direction. Put just a little bit more phthalo blue right in here. They're right here in this direction. Now if I start adding yellow, and now let's talk about the yellow just for a moment. What yellow? I'm going to get that. I'm using the Hansa Yellow Light made by Utrecht. It needs to be a fully saturated yellow. I don't know of any transparent yellow that's going to give you this clear mixture. Indian yellow is a transparent yellow, but it leans more towards orange. Quinacridone Gold is a transparent yellow, but it too leans a little bit more towards orange. So I would say you're going to be just as you'll be just as well off as far as the range of colors and possibilities if you stick with a fully saturated yellow. It can be the Hansa Yellow Light by Utrecht, Hansa Yellow Medium by Gamlin, or you might have even the Cadmium Yellow Light or Cadmium Yellow Medium made by some of the other companies. There's so many ranges there. Just look for something that's fully saturated. Okay, now this time what I'm going to do, I'll just take the yellow and show you the Hansa Yellow Light by itself. Oh, I'll come down here. What did I say I was going to do? It doesn't matter. Oops, I had a little bit of the blue is still in the brush. There's Hansa Yellow Light. Now if we mix Hansa Yellow Light, I'm going to bring just a little bit right here on the palette. Let's just show it here. Little bit of the phthalo blue in the Hansa Yellow Light. And look what a wonderful, bright, brilliant green we get here. So there's just one shade. Now let's just put that right here. Put it right between those two. We'll make it even darker. It doesn't take much to have. There we go. There we've got a nice dark shade of green. Now you can continue to get lighter versions of that green. The phthalo blue is a very strong tinting color. So that means it won't take very much phthalo blue at all to change that Hansa yellow, or for Hansa yellow to be mixed into it to change it to green. And then we will add even more. It can show you more possibilities, and so you see there's more of a yellow green possibility, and then we can get even more yellow green here, and it goes on out like that. Whoops, that was, there we go. There are many things that you can do with that too, but I'm going to show you something here now. This is too harsh. That yellow green is too harsh for what we would think of as a natural green. Well, you can add the combinations I've shown you here, the combination of the red, of the alizarin crimson and the phthalo blue, which create a kind of a violet. If you add that into this yellow green, you can get a more natural green. See, that then begins to lean a little bit more towards what you might call I call a nature green. You can play around with this. I'm just going to show you a few possibilities here. And then of course when you add white to that, you get some other possibilities. So you can get all sorts of possibilities of green just by using the yellow that you use into the phthalo blue, and then adding mixtures that you get from the red and the blue up here. Adding those mixtures in is going to give you a wide range of greens. Now what about oranges? And this just scratches the surface of the possibility of these three colors with white. So I just want to get you started in getting familiar with the colors and then getting familiar with what they can do. So let's look at what alizarin crimson now and Hansa yellow will do. So let's come right up here. This is kind of disorganized, but alright, so what? As long as it makes sense to you, that's what counts. Now, alizarin crimson is also very strong. Alizarin crimson, it won't take much alizarin crimson into the yellow to turn it orange. It won't take much phthalo blue into yellow to turn it green. So that's something you might call the even advantage. So that means you could use even smaller tubes if you're limited to a number of tubes that you might be able to take with you. All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit of alizarin crimson into Hansa yellow light, just a little bit right here, and so this is what we get. We get a little bit of medium into that. See that nice orange? Gives you a wonderful orange. A little bit more, let's get a little bit more of a sort of a yellow orange if we don't add quite so much, which will just kind of sit right here. Maybe just gradate those together. Then you can get even a deeper orange. Add just a little bit more alizarin naturally. That's what we would do. This would go more towards a red orange. Here you go. It's right here. Alright, there we go. Even this is more like a yellow orange. You see right now we're getting into a pure registration of orange. Alright, well, so what if you want a burnt orange? Well, if you want a burnt orange, you come right back into the phthalo blue. Let's see, let's reach right over here. No, let's not, let's reach right here. Come back right into the phthalo blue and mix phthalo blue. Now see, the phthalo blue is so strong it really took over there, but oh, that gives us a nice little, look at that, a nice little green when we did that. I'm going to start mixtures over here. There we go, the orange. Now let's add a little bit more. And let's look at how we can use phthalo blue to actually create that burnt orange. That right in here. It's kind of like the burnt orange, quinacridone burnt orange, or burnt sienna. A little bit more of the yellow in there. Burnt sienna. You see what I'm really working that on the palette, adding more red to get it oranger, because this is what happens when you have really strong colors, or really strong tinting strength colors. You have to add really, really gradually, and sometimes if you add too much, they will tint in the opposite direction. Let's see what we have here. Okay, that looks more like a burnt umber, doesn't it? All right, let's pull just a little bit more. And did you know that you could create a burnt umber? Let's put a little bit more red and a little bit more yellow, and right here we have this. Well, this is getting closer to burnt sienna. A little bit more red, a little bit more yellow into that mixture, and there we go right there. That would be the burnt sienna. So you can see how many possibilities, and I haven't even scratched the surface for you here. You start this by taking the three mixtures I just showed you, or the three colors I just showed you. Start with mixing two together, like I did here, where you could start with the red and the blue, alizarin crimson and phthalo blue, and then mix those together and see what they do to each other, and then add white into them and see what happens when you do that. Then go to two more colors, like we did here, the yellow and the phthalo blue. Explore what they will do, explore different mixtures, and then explore by adding what you just did into those, and you'll see even broader possibilities. Then next, go to taking the third color and adding it into the alizarin crimson. So you see, first of all, red and blue, then we had blue and yellow and its possibilities, and then we have red and yellow and its possibilities. And you'll find that you could mix you'll just be surprised at how many colors. One way to do this, practice this exercise, once you have gone through this phase, then go to, you might even go to a photograph because it's easier that way, a photograph of something in nature, it could be, or whatever, and isolate a color in there, and then try to mix that color from what you have right here, just these three colors in white. So I think if you're really interested in a limited primary palette, I suggest that you explore this one and see just how much versatility it's going to get you, and just how far it can get you into mixing most of the colors that you'd use anyway. Hope you enjoyed this quick tip. If you have questions or a suggestion for a quick tip, leave us a comment right down here in the YouTube comment box. And take a trip over to DianneMize.com and look at all the things we have there for you, including full-length video tutorials. And while you're there, sign up for our newsletter so you'll always be informed of our latest adventures. And thanks for watching.